best could be. I haven't seen my Super Nintendo since 2003. That's alright, I don't mind. I've got a Switch in the old SwitchAroo. My friend Mike and Jaymo too.
Welcome back to the Old SwitchAroo, where we're talking gaming retro with Mike and Jaymo.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jaymo. In this episode of the Old SwitchAroo Lite Switch, instead of our normal focus on the over 300 retro games available on Nintendo Classics, we're going to share what games we've been playing during the off-season, as well as our deep dive on last week's Super Mario Galaxy movie direct presentation.
As a reminder, please subscribe or follow us on YouTube or wherever you're listening to podcasts. And please review us so you can get all the gaming goodness delivered just how you like it and other people see it too.
Yes, let's spread that gaming goodness around. So Mike, we watched the original Mario movie together, and I mean that in every sense of the word. Give me your take on Mario's big screen appearances so far.
Um, I am hard pressed to decide which I like better. Um, because I think the 90s one has a lot going for it that I appreciate in terms of the world it builds.
Yeah,
It feels nice and distinct. Um, but then the animated one also has a lot going for it. Um, a lot of depth and references because there's a bunch of stuff that I remember picking up. I think I picked up stuff that I didn't know what it was a reference to. I just saw it and I'm like, that's got to be a reference to something. I will Google this later.
yeah.
Um, so I mean, it was fun. I wasn't as taken with it as I think a lot of people were, but I also didn't think it was bad.
Yeah. I mean, I'm with you, and I think Derek is a defender of the '90s Mario movie because I mean the story of that thing being such a belabored production just makes you appreciate all the more the fact that they did, in fact, cobble a movie together from that dingy, like heat stroke inducing warehouse they were recording the entire thing in, and people were heavily under the influence for a lot of that production. But as you know, as cute as the animated movie is, you kind of can't deny it's less interesting than
Yeah,
the '90s live action.
I
You'd
think the
agree,
point's been
right?
argued that the '90s one was kind of more like you had a movie idea and you just have attached a property to it somewhat.
Yeah. But
But with an interesting idea.
yeah. And Andrew, our friend at Nothing New, he did an episode comparing the live action Mario to Illumination's Mario. And there's several references in Illumination's Mario that proves that whoever made that movie actually did care about the old live action one. So there's like some like kind of beat for beat recreations if you know look at it through a certain lens. So that's pretty fun. So yesterday well, no, last week. There we go. Last week there was a Super Mario Galaxy movie direct. That's such a mouthful. The Super Mario Galaxy movie.
It's weird. You don't normally think about Nintendo having cumbersome and not terribly descriptive names for things.
That would be great if they re-released these movies with the same shenanigans they pulled for the Super Mario Advance series. Um, but we both watched it. What was your overall impression?
Honestly, I think like before watching it, I figured I will watch it because I watched the first one and it was fun.
Yeah.
And I am in the exact same spot I am now. Like there was nothing that grabbed me.
Okay.
I mean, part of this is with this being Mario Galaxy, a game which I've never played.
Yeah.
Like there's no, oh, it's that element to this.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that's kind of all it seemed to offer up.
Right.
Like there wasn't anything else to that, really, to me.
It's it's funny because halfway through the direct, Jack Black like crashes the presentation and goes like, "My kids were so excited for the Mario Galaxy movie, and if my kids are excited, that means kids all over the world are excited because Mario Galaxy was the best." Mike, I did the math. Like Mario Galaxy came out 15 years ago. So I'm not saying that kids can't play it, but like those came out on the Wii which has not really been a console I think many people still access because of its lack of HD functionality. I feel like I don't know if I'm speaking out of my butt here, but I think that most consoles that are plugged into modern televisions are probably ones that you use an HDMI cable to connect. You'd agree, right?
I mean, I just presumed that people are still doing the same thing I remember doing and having to cobble together three different cords to plug stuff in.
Oh yeah, yeah. And there's always some kind of like transfer box. You kind of had to. You're like an old-timey operator getting your game system to
Yeah,
turn
things with there's like
on.
wires, like bare wires that you're attaching to prongs kind of stuff. Like, I mean, this what happens when it was running an Atari in, you know, the year 2000 on a TV. Like it was not straightforward.
I remember when we had to turn to channel 3 to turn on the Genesis. Like that was like a thing, and just like having to be on a specific channel for your video game system to work.
In a sense, I kind of like that I still have to switch to input three.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice. It's nostalgic.
Yeah.
Well, so, kind of just calling out some of the bigger moments of the trailer itself. You kind of have it just divided into distinct little parts. We see that Bowser, I get, you have to say spoilers for a trailer? I don't think so.
I mean, we're talking about the trailer. If it's a,
Okay,
it's
yeah.
a
If you don't want the trailer spoiled, pause this podcast for 2 minutes, go watch it and come back. So Bowser is still being held captive in Princess Peach's castle. He ate a poison mushroom at the end of the last movie and was shrunk down.
And I
And
do like that was like that context was reminded to us afterwards, in large part because when I watched this with Kat, she's like, "Why is he small?" And I'm like, "That happened at the end of the last movie." And so I really like that they're just like, "We're gonna put something in here just to be like, hey, everyone, remember that?" Because
yeah,
people
and
don't.
and you see him frantically painting a la Malcolm's dad from Malcolm in the Middle. I don't know if you ever saw that episode where he just throws paint at this giant canvas. Have you seen that one, right?
No, or I
Oh,
don't remember that one.
it ends with a paint-a-lanche, which I don't think is that hard. Actually, well, I guess it's an avalanche of paint. But I don't know. Definitely, Bryan Cranston. That's the actor's name,
Yeah,
right? Yeah, definitely one of his more treasured scenes in my book. But anyway, Bowser is painting haphazardly, and well, he makes a painting of Mario as a corpse. It's a skeleton of Mario.
yeah.
But then when Mario and Luigi show up, he shows them, I guess you'd call it fan art of himself with like a six pack of abs and Peach fawning on him.
Guarantee
And
that's already on DeviantArt.
oh, 100%. Yeah. And on Etsy. You can buy a t-shirt of that painting already. But Mario is a dick about it. I understand this is your arch rival, but he calls his painting trash, and like Luigi is kind of affirming. And there's a cute little moment where like tiny Bowser is like, "Hey Luigi, what's up, Mario?" And like I just love this implication that Luigi is the more likable brother.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah. So then you have some quick smash cuts. You have Mario and Peach watching a gorgeously animated, like kind of meteor shower, shooting star kind of, things raining down. I mean, Illumination Studios is right. I thought the color play looked beautiful in that scene. So can't wait to see that on the big screen. And then Peach and Toad leap into a warp star, flying past an aquatic planet. And then one of the more interesting shots is Mario and Luigi decked out in Mad Max style cloaks, and they're driving dirt bikes through the Sand Kingdom level from Mario Odyssey, complete with its iconic inverted pyramid. You didn't play Odyssey either, right?
No, which one was that?
That was the one that came out on the Switch. You threw your
That
cap onto different enemies and
I
possessed
pl-
them.
okay, I played that for like 2 hours with Riri.
Okay. Well, it's a great game. I mean, it's a strong recommend, and it's interesting to see Sand Kingdom in the Galaxy movie because that tells you that they're going to be playing with not only characters but potentially settings from other games. So I thought that was kind of neat. Also, the motorbike had a sticker on it that said like Lost Arena or something, OST something Arena. I have trouble reading the first letter. Did you catch that?
No, I
Okay.
did not.
Leave a comment if anyone knows what that's a reference to, because it looks like it could be saying Lost Arena, and I'm not familiar with the reference, but it seemed like a little Easter egg. And so then afterwards, Princess Peach is seen using her parasol from the Smash Brothers series. to fight off a horde of ninjas, and they're in some kind of computer-looking sort of dimension. And then the big reveal, Bowser Jr. lands into frame with his iconic paintbrush from Super Mario Sunshine. He dips it in some sort of like Terminator style liquid metal that coats his body and turns the brush into a spiked flail as a really fun sound effect it kicks in. Did you recognize the audio Easter egg, Mike, in that part?
No.
It's like you use the footage for this, don't you? You use
Oh
the
yeah.
video. Okay, that's gonna be wonderful. Um, it's the Prowler sound effect from Beyond the Spider-Verse. It's the same sound that the Prowler makes.
Okay.
You know Prowler, the green cloak guy?
Or
Um,
that was the second of the animated movies, right?
this the first one.
Okay, that was the
Yeah.
first. Okay.
Technically, he is in the second one, played by Danny Glover.
I, I only saw the first one, and it's been a while.
Okay. Well, people in the comments don't know what I'm talking about. That character has a very iconic sort of sound effect whenever he appears on screen. And it's kind of a mix between like an elephant and like a lion's roar. It's really cool. So I thought that was a cute little nod to fans of animated movies because I think a lot of people are going to recognize that. And so also Bowser Jr. had kind of a cool effect. His little kerchief like kind of moves like a sound wave. I feel like there's going to be some level of like computery digital threat with like Bowser Jr. getting that sort of upgrade to his little kerchief, making the pattern on the fabric moves up and down like a sound wave, but it also looks like his jaws. I just watched the trailer.
So
It's just-
it could be something like a virus that's going to take over the world, and it has to be solved by dealing with like Bowser's inability to be on his own away from Peach,
okay.
and then just entirely rip off additional things from Wreck-It Ralph too.
But I mean, I don't know how serious you're being, but I could totally see that metal that coats Bowser Jr. as some kind of threat on its own. You know, maybe
I'm
that is the visual of the virus. Um, And so then you get the ending shot of the trailer, which is Megaleg, the three-legged boss from Galaxy, approaching Rosalina's castle, attempting to kidnap her. She produces her magic wand to repel its grasp and then cuts off all three ankles of the roboticized mech simultaneously using warp stars like buzz saws. Come on, Mike, you got to give it. That was pretty cool.
I kind of it. I think it didn't feel like it had stakes, so I kind of was underwhelmed by it.
Okay. I just feel like we've seen a lot of like cool guys don't look at explosion shots. In fact, even
I
Predator.
did I did notice that part is that like as it's collapsing to the ground, she's just walking away.
She's not even walking away.
Or-
She's kind of just looking to the side, kind of smug. And it hit for me. I was like, that's a pretty dope shot to end on. Brie Larson as Rosalina and Benny Safdie as Bowser Jr. Any thoughts?
Um, Not really in either case, other than I feel like the first one is going to upset like the worst parts of the internet.
What? Why? Oh, because like they're not over Captain Marvel or whatever.
Yeah.
Ugh, it's whatever. I think she's a good fit. I'm not really familiar with Benny Safdie. I've seen him in Good Time, but he wasn't like a major part of the movie. Um, there was something kind of interesting that I thought was missing from the trailer. Did you happen to get a look at the thumbnail on YouTube for the Mario Galaxy movie Direct? It's a picture of a flotilla of sailboats with Mario and Luigi and Peach out on the bay with a bunch of different toads, and they're all riding in these sailboats with star-shaped sails. Are you familiar?
I am not, but
Okay. Well, it's easy to find.
yeah.
Uh, there is a very interesting cameo in that thumbnail, which is Chef Toad, a character who has only appeared in the Universal Studios restaurant Toadstool Cafe.
It,
He's an original character for that restaurant, Mike, and
okay.
he's on the poster.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I don't know how I feel about that.
I was trying to figure out how it's different from because there is a whole Toad cooking bit in the first movie, so I didn't know if that refers to encapsulates him or if you mean chef like with like chef hat kind of thing.
Chef Toad is a distinct character. His
Okay.
mushroom is a different color.
Okay.
Yeah. Such a freaking nerd. Well, but so Toad's head is white with red spots. Chef Toad's head is red with white spots, and he has the little chef hat.
Okay.
So you're being very problematic, Mike. Um,
I'm not being problematic if I haven't seen him.
um, but I don't know though. Like I, I think it is somewhat interesting. Like we'll save it for a more detailed conversation of it. But the Toadstool Cafe restaurant in Universal Studios has a lot of screens, and so you could
Awesome.
potentially what?
That it's awesome that those
Yeah.
screens.
Yeah, they're really really fun. They're super high def. They're fully animated. But it occurred to me you could very easily program new screens to promote a new movie. And so I was like, is Chef Toad gonna have like some movie stuff appearing in the restaurant and then they'll advertise that? I don't know. Listen, Universal, someone pay attention to us. You can have that for free. That's a good freaking idea. Um, my one takeaway from this trailer though is kind of my takeaway from the first movie, which is that you have these Mario movies, and it seems like Mario is consistently the least interesting person in the script. Do you agree?
I mean, his first appearance, he's upstaged by a giant monkey that steals a woman and a woman who's stolen by a giant monkey.
Right.
So I think that's just on par.
Yeah, and it occurred to me like Mario is very much a blank slate kind of character. He doesn't really have a personality in the way that like Sonic does. But hey, you're making movies. Like I feel like this would be a unique opportunity to actually give that character a little bit of depth. But I wonder if they don't want to. I wonder if Nintendo is directing them to leave Mario a bit more, what's the term? A bit more of a tabula rasa for the
I
players.
I think it's like it whichever way you go, someone's going to be mad. Like it's probably the same realm of like less of an like or it's more of an issue when you get into the idea of like Link and you get to like, well, is Link going to talk? And however you do that is going to possibly upset some part of a fan base because everyone's got their idea of what either they don't want it to happen or they've got their own internal idea of how it should happen.
I guess in my mind, the movie that did it right and took a chance and it paid off was Detective Pikachu because, now granted, that's not Ash's Pikachu, so it's a different Pikachu, but that's Pikachu for most of the world. And they most definitely picked a direction and committed to it. You like that movie, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. And I just think of that movie if they had just made Pika say Pika Pika because they were too afraid to give a personality to him and they made him like a surly Ryan Reynolds. Lisa, I'm sorry. Hopefully you're still listening. She's got
yeah.
this whole thing against Ryan Reynolds, but I thought that was an example of taking a game character that's not necessarily known for having a distinct personality and doing something interesting with it.
I think they have the safety though that everyone knew that that's like, or it
It's
gets
a
made clear that
Pikachu.
that's a Pikachu and it's a different Pikachu.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Did you have any final takes on the Super Mario Galaxy movie direct?
Not really. Like I said, it felt very bland to me because, or I guess because it doesn't have anything that I'm gonna go, oh hey, it's that thing.
Right. Well, I mean, you're gonna see it though, right?
Yeah, yeah. Like
And
it didn't change that because for me it was more based off of my selling point was the first movie, and I'm like, I don't know if they have something that they can throw in there that will make me radically change. Like, oh, now I'm excited for this.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna see it, you a see it, and listener, come back to the old switcheroo and we will include our thoughts somewhere. And leave a comment. Let us know if you're excited. So Mike, what the heck have you been playing lately?
A lot of card games.
Yeah, talk to me about that. What's the
Um,
uh, what's the first one you want to gab about here?
um, I'll just say the first one was one that I've had sitting around for a while, and I think this came up when we had Dempsey on, I think. But certainly one that you brought up, which was Inscryption.
Yes, yes, I love Inscription. Are you playing it on PC?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so how far are you? Because the most interesting about Inscription is that it's a card game with a hell of a plot.
Yeah. So I have reached. I think what effectively is the end of the game.
Okay, describe it.
I'm at the point now where I just have like the like various mods that you can go back and play.
Okay.
Like I think I've gone through like, or this part is definitely going to be spoilery. Like I've gone through like the guy that you're following through this is like killed and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the video logs of because the premise essentially is that
This is a heck of a meta freeze.
of a lost game.
Okay,
Yeah, I cut out there for a
you
second.
you cut out at the premise is.
Okay. Am I back now?
Yes.
Okay. Um, so essentially, the premise is that this influencer, kind of a small time influencer called the Lucky Carter, has stumbled upon a copy of a game he was not supposed to have. And through a process of investigating the game itself, the company that made the game, and interacting with people who don't necessarily want him to have a copy of this game. Um, those I thought were really compelling. Did they hit for you?
Um, I kind of felt it was hit or miss.
Okay.
Like honestly, the part that I found more compelling was since the structure of it is basically roguelite.
Yeah.
And so the first one you have this card game, and you are getting new cards as you're kind of going through, and you're able to kind of get up from the table and move around the room a bit.
Which I thought was really unique. That was surprising.
Yeah, and so like I had a lot of fun with that to the point that I was kind of disappointed when it moved on,
Yeah.
um, without me knowing it was going to happen like that. Because once you kind of move on, you're on to a whole new sort of stage of this as you're basically going through the same core card game. Like really, it's a physical card game that had gotten a computer version. So you're seeing various computer
Yeah.
versions. Um,
Yeah, and the rules change a little bit each time. Um, and so then at the risk of so you haven't beaten it yet.
um, I mean, I have then gone through going around through that, and I've gone to like the game. It's basically deleting the whole game thing.
Right.
Um, so like I think the part that I'm at now kind of is just like there's some different like special like modified versions that you can beat for achievements. Seems to be what I'm currently at.
Right. Okay. Well,
And I'll put it this way: that it is structured in such a way that makes it seem like now I'm just at a point where it's just chasing achievements, and I
okay.
have stopped.
All right. So I want to ask something at the risk of spoiling something you haven't discovered yet, but it sounds like it has. So how many times have the rules and aesthetics changed for you? Or or are you still in the second computer version? Because the art style and the aesthetics changes 4 times.
I
There might be more to this game than you realize.
I thought I meant that.
There was a physical card game in the cabin. Then there's
Yeah,
the computery version where you're kind of in a Portal style. Then there was the one where it became like a top-down retro RPG. It kind of looks like an NES game. Did you get to that one?
yeah, and then
And then the final one is the Yu-Gi-Oh version.
I don't know what that would mean.
Okay.
No, no, no. Like, yeah, just like literally, I don't know what that description would look like to
Those
know if
words
I've
did
done that.
nothing for you.
Correct.
You're like summoning the creatures, and there's like a holographic representation of them.
Where they're like out, so like you're up at a distance, and there's like four out there that you put
Yeah.
out. Yeah,
Okay. So I think you did finish the game.
yeah, that's the part where like it's deleting stuff's deleting as you're going.
Yeah. Yeah. That's the final rendition of the card game. I don't know though. Like I would love a sequel. I would love them to figure out some way to make an actual, you know, card set you buy. Um,
I mean,
you
that's
know,
probably doable, and I'm also kind of glad that I going into that I did not know what other games this developer has done.
what have they done?
This is the same developer as Pony Island.
I don't know what that is. That did nothing for me.
Um, Pony Island is a game that starts off very straightforward
Ah,
and gets very weird.
okay. Would you
Um,
recommend it?
yes,
Cool.
ideally in a way that you get it and then forget about this conversation for like 8 months.
Okay.
And then be like, why do I have this? And start playing it.
I'll do as much brain damage to myself as possible, try to erase those
Yeah,
memories.
it is definitely a game that like when I played it a while back, there's a couple people I'm like, hey, you need to play that. You need to get this game. Don't look at what it is at all, and just start playing it.
Okay. That sounds dope. Well, leave a comment, guys, if you would also recommend Pony Island.
Yeah, which
You might remember Mike, my older brother moved to Colorado,
I
right?
did not know that.
Ah, are you discovering that right now?
Correct. Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, Justin, past guest on our Sonic and Golden Axe episodes, he has a little baby now, and the whole family moved up to Colorado, and I was really bummed about it. But we've kind of been gaming together more than we ever have because he bought Split Fiction for the Switch too, and it has a friend pass, a la how Riri and I played Little Nightmares 3 together. It is a 3D adventure cooperative game where the combat situations, the puzzles, even the story elements, you are always needing to cooperate and work together. And, that kind of feeds into the plot at
Yeah.
all.
Is this the same developers that did It Takes Two, or is this just in the same vein?
It's exactly that style of gameplay. I honestly don't know. Did It Takes Two and Split Fiction come thrilling content come from the same studio? Look, I always like it when Steve does this on the Cable Club League. Yes, same studio.
Hmm.
Good call. I've actually never played It Takes Two. Have you?
I have not, because like it involves a second person, and that's a lot of work.
Okay. Well, you know what? You're kind of tied to another person. Maybe you and I
Yeah.
should mess around a little bit. Um, but the game is kind of casual. It sometimes borders on like kind of sleepy because the combat's not that tough and the platforming is not that intricate. But it's kind of fun to just chop it up with Justin and play that game together and make little inside jokes. And there are like flashes of brilliance. So people who played it, if I say hot dogs, you know exactly what I'm talking about, and that is a memorable moment. Um, there was a hilarious one where in game I had to do two-factor authentication. So like on the cell phone in the game, I'm putting in a code as something hectic is happening behind me and it's all very time sensitive, and then I get a phone call in game and have to like ignore. It was so immersive, and I'm told the climax of this game is truly one of a kind and really mind-blowing. So I'm gonna see it out. Um, is sort of jarring to see a Nintendo Switch game look this good because like it's on a Switch too. Have you cracked the seal on that Switch 2 yet?
I've checked that it can like it's plugged into charge, but I haven't
Okay.
actually configured it. I haven't had the time yet.
So is your Switch 2 debut game going to be Chibi Robo?
I don't know.
Okay.
It might be that.
Mario Kart.
It may be that Mario Kart because it's there. Like I have it. I just
I really
haven't.
like it. I've fallen more in love with that game the more I just play it. I think people are way too hard on it. It's actually funny. I got Sonic Cross Worlds Racing, but the Switch 2 patch doesn't come out till early December. So it's essentially everyone buys the Switch version and then you download a Switch 2 update for 10 more bucks. And now it looks like a current gen game. So it's just sitting there on the table. I don't want to open it until the game can look as good as it possibly can. So I'm holding off to starting it, but I'm having so much fun with Mario Kart World. But you didn't seem taken with it the few times you played it.
Not really. And I
Hmm.
think it's if I wanted a game that was go through a track and get to the end of that one linear track first, to me that's other racing games. Like
Yeah.
the like I think I kind of crystallized part of it is I think they've added enough that for me it stops having like the sort of distilled down. I know what I'm controlling, and I may be bad at it, but like I know what I'm controlling and what it's doing. And part of it is just like there's something about coming back around and being like, oh hey, question box. That's exactly what I need. Dang it. Wait, I put that there last lap, didn't I? Like that
Yeah.
kind of a feeling. And I so like even with Mario Kart 8, kind of the shift away from a lot to a large extent from tracks that are or as it started to move to tracks that are have a start and a finish rather than laps. I'm just not as much of a fan of that with a Mario Kart format.
Yeah, because I was gonna say your favorite racing game of all time is that format.
Yeah, but that's because then it's much more about it's the actual racing, not the items.
Yeah, we're referring to Cruising USA, if you
Yeah.
weren't familiar. Well, so yeah, I am continuing to enjoy Mario Kart World, and am also enjoying Split Fiction. So eager to see how it ends. It's a long game though, and that was also kind of nice. Like Little Nightmares 3 was pretty short, but this thing looks like it's going to be, um, close to 20 hours of total gameplay, which was more than I expected. Mike, what else you been playing?
So I have two others. So I'll start with the one that I don't know if you're familiar with, which is Slay the Spire, which I have had sitting in Steam for like 4 years or something, possibly close to as long as that game's been out,
Yeah, it's
and
been a while.
just had never gotten around to it because it's just been in that backlog of games that I have.
Yeah. Yes, I
Because
have played it. I have beaten it.
okay,
And I enjoy it. The
what do you,
Strauss family
or,
goes through roguelites every now and then.
okay, so when you say beaten it, what do you mean by that?
I didn't dabble in any of the DLC. I know the game has expanded and continued. So for me, it is the heart. Killing the heart of the spire is the end
Okay,
of the game for me.
okay, because I think because the interesting part about this because you have this structure of you're sort of you have at least four characters to choose from. I don't know if there's more. I just have four so far. Um, and then going through and having to sort of work your way up through levels and pick what cards to get. And you have like 3 acts of a bunch of levels to procedurally generated maps. And at the end, you kind of have like at the end of the third act, if you can beat that boss, once you've done that, you can now, with that same character, redo that process at a higher difficulty level.
Yeah.
So I have gotten through at the base level. I actually no, I think on one of them and I think that's the ascension levels that I think go up to 20 per character.
Yeah.
So
That sounds right.
I have one that I think I have beaten with twice, and I've got another that I like and I can't win with, but I keep
Hmm.
going. But the one with all the orbs,
Yes, yes, that one's confusing.
I like it. I think it's I haven't yet gotten the good sense on how to get that into like a solid working synergy. And honestly, like the relics that you pick up along the way, sometimes it's just if you get the right thing to boost your number of relics, then it's like I can ride this the whole rest of this run out. Um, it's like suddenly I have a lot of extra relics and I just have all these extra boosts. So
I and being a roguelite, you are upgrading your deck and you are discarding older cards that are not as good of an attack thing. So I would guess this scratched a similar itch for you as Balatro.
um I all right, I guess it probably does it still has the same thing of what is the figure out the synergy
Yeah.
and
Find the
capitalize
combo.
on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
like or which isn't even like necessarily a roguelike thing. Like there's a Japanese board game that's called like Trains or something.
Okay.
And it's one of these things that has like a bunch of base cards and then a bunch of optional cards to add in. And it's basically you're building train routes and building trains. Like
Yeah.
the exactly what the name implies. Um, but you basically kind of at random or however you want to do it, add in a few other cards into that whole thing. And so when you're playing it, it becomes everybody is sort of in a race to figure out what's the best synergy with the particular set of cards we have,
Yeah.
with some unique things in there, like, oh, what's the good angle to go for. Um and I think it's the same thing why I found, like, to some extent, like building magic decks fun, is it's finding a thing that is like, I like this and I can build something around this and get it going.
Well, so I'm so stoked you finally started Slay the Spire, and our cable club friends have a dedicated Discord for Slay the Spire. So I don't know if you dropped in there and
I post I First of all, I asked, how long should I be going into this to start sort of getting the hang of it?
yeah,
Just to be like, because I've got a couple of them, like, man, is this not clicking for me yet, or is this not going to click?
yeah, but it
And kind of
clicked.
eventually it started to more.
Yeah,
And so, like, I did post like my first win in there.
nice, nice. Love to hear that. Well, to me, I think that's a perfect segue into your final topic, which I'm trying not to get too excited about.
That's probably for the best.
What's the last game you want to talk about?
I have finally had enough time that I sort of decided to download on my computer and try out Marvel Snap.
Oh my God. I've been waiting for this moment. My nipples are so hard. Mike, even if you don't like it, tell me what you think about Marvel Snap.
Um, I think my biggest issue with it is the gameplay never clicked for me.
Okay. And
And it's just, it always feels like the game is over before anything has had the chance to actually get interesting.
okay. So the big appeal of the game to me is the 3 minute matches, 6 turns only. But for you, that's not allowing the strategy to gestate to a satisfying point.
Yeah, like, if it like it's like, I mean, I've had ones where it's like I won because something random happened on, you know, the turn three reveal, and the other person's like, "Well, I'm done." And it whereas, like, I don't want to win that way.
Yeah, but I mean, it does kind of have a bit more of a gambly aspect to that because what Mike's referring to is that unlike most competitive card games, you have randomized locations that are really the heart of the game because the rules, so it's basically 3 lanes, and your goal is to win 2 out of 3 lanes. But the different effects that can take place in each lane are super wacky. So this one is like, oh, the lowest total number wins. Or in this one, you just can't play cards in this one. So if you have a character that moves like Spider-Man and he swings into there, you're set. But unless you have that specific deck built, you're kind of at a huge disadvantage. And so that is sort of something the developers have been very vocal about as part of the gameplay. You're not really supposed to see it as individual matches, but as your total progression through the collection track. Because another thing that makes Marvel Snap unique is that you have to decide how many cubes, that's the game's kind of currency for progression, you want to wager on any given match. And if you stay to the end of the match and both players have doubled down, you're betting 8. But if you know you're going to lose early on, you can bet 1. And that's why the game has no mulligan feature either. If you draw a bad hand, you are expected to just bail out because we're going to get you in another game within the next 30 seconds. So I think that's why the brief nature of the matches didn't bother me is that I never dwell for very long on any one match. I'm always just queuing it up, and it's about the overall feel of strategy growing and collection growing and unlocking cool art and unlocking cool, it's just a constant endorphin drip for me. Um, was there a particular type of deck you were trying? Like, did you use the pre-built ones or did you mess with your own strategy?
I think the main thing that I had going was, to remember, because it's been a couple weeks since I feel like I put in something like 20 hours of trying to see if I can get, and it never. And I think the constant progression of, like, oh, well, there's always more cards that you can't have yet, but without direct control over which ones,
Yeah.
kind of was sufficiently frustrating. But I know I had a lot that was working on card destruction.
Okay.
So, which meant that it had like Wolverine who gets destroyed and then pops back somewhere, and
Yeah. And they're like
several.
this the symbiote cards like Carnage and Venom will destroy your own cards and get stronger for it. And that's another thing I like about it is that I feel like the way that they integrated the unique powers and personalities of these characters and translate that into a game rule, I feel like felt clever. Like it's like Captain America. It's like, well, yeah, he makes the other cards around him stronger because he's the leader. You know, Wolverine, he constantly regenerates. Nightcrawler, he can move to somewhere else. It always kind of, or I shouldn't say always, but for the most part, it makes sense to me. Um, I was curious though, because I don't know a lot of people who have just started the game. And a big criticism is that the sheer number of cards and the kind of constant drip feed of giving you new cards makes catching up and getting competitive seem like an impossible goal. So it is a little disheartening to hear you say that it was frustrating seeing cards that you're not allowed to choose from or get yet. But that's actually a great idea, though. There's been a lot of debate in the community about how do we snag new players. And I think that that is a great solution where if you're below a certain collection level, instead of making me open the random booster packs, be like, here you can choose from these 150 cards because there's 400 in the game now. That's a lot of freaking
Yeah,
content. So let new players, when they unlock a new card, pick from the first 200 cards and build some kind of strategy they're proud of instead of, like you said, rolling the dice.
yeah,
You're smart, Mike.
I feel like other games that I played that kind of fall into this realm, um, that are sort of a more play against another player card game that's deliberately designed for like digital. It's not we've adapted a physical thing.
Yeah.
Um, both of those, I think one of those I think technically started off as pay as initially like it was a cost to get, but you could get everything more directly.
What is it?
I think I used to play both Scrolls and Faria, and I think Faria is still around.
Okay.
And Scrolls is not. But both of those, I felt it was a bit easier to be like, this is the direction I want to go for, and there was sort of a way to kind of target that.
Yeah.
In this, I like you bring up Carnage and Venom, which I had Carnage because Carnage I think is the cheaper one. I had that one, and like I would see a Venom, I'm like that's perfect for what I'm trying to do here, and I do not really have a way to get it, but I keep getting other cards I don't care about.
Right. Yeah, that's
Um,
frustrating. Now,
yeah,
they did recently start adding themed booster packs that are real cheap. It's like 1,000 collector tokens, which you'll unlock not not immediately, but it doesn't take that long. And it's like this is the destroy booster pack, and it's all cards for that strategy. So I do see them trying to address it through that.
okay,
Um,
which is interesting. I did not see that when I was looking at the stuff available, and some of that is there's it's so much stuff in that store that I may well have just missed where things were because there was like five different tabs to that thing.
yeah, there's the like aesthetic store, and then there's the card store, and then there's like the I don't know, user actual money store. I don't know. It's I'm not overwhelmed by the microcurrencies as I am in a lot of free to play games, but I as much as it's not grabbing you, I would encourage you to not uninstall it because I think you should at least try some of the limited time game modes twice a month. They'll change the rules. And so like one of my favorite one, it's called Sanctum Showdown. It's all Doctor Strange themed, but the way that that works is that the three lanes have a value that changes from turn to turn. And so it's like, okay, at the end of turn two, the middle lane is worth the most points. So if you're winning at the end of turn two, you get a point on the scoreboard, and it's whoever can get first to 16 points. So the games tend to be a little bit
I
longer.
I think I did try that one, and there was also
Okay.
the one where like they up how much the energy you have. with like a
Yeah, well, there's two
storm
modes
thing.
that do that. There's called overdrive where you get a ton of energy, and then there's the one where you choose the champions and you get this pre-built deck and you start
Overdrive.
with one extra.
So it was the overdrive one.
Yeah. Okay. And was that, I mean, I feel like you had all this energy, but you didn't have a lot of cards you were excited to play with it.
I think I had something else I was trying out more for that one, but yeah, it didn't have. I never felt sort of like I was in the position to have the cards that was after, and again, it just all of them to me end early enough that, or any card game has like this element of randomization in there because I mean, like you're drawing cards, you're not fully in control, but a lot of others feel like they go on long enough usually that you hit a point where it's like, okay, at this point, luck's a part of this, but skill is a dominant thing, and luck is going to skew it for people that are close. Whereas
Yeah,
this
yeah, yeah.
felt a lot more scattershot.
Yeah. Because of the locations and because of the 12 card decks and yeah, there's a lot I could see there. You are in our alliance, aren't you?
Yes,
Oh, are you Davin?
yes.
Hey, I'm embarrassed I didn't recognize that. I was like, that looks familiar. Well, anyone else who is playing Marvel Snap, search for NES. It's the Nintendo Power Alliance, and that is the official alliance. I apologize for some of the names in there. I
It's the
asked that
internet.
person that, yeah, it's the internet. I don't want to just kick them out without talking to them, but they haven't responded to my chat request in game. So hey, if you're listening, you know who. Join our Discord so we can have a chat about your freaking username. But anyway, I think it's fun. Well, Mike, any other games you want to talk about? Or are we gonna wrap it up here?
I think that covers it for today. That's been a
So
solid balance of things.
absolutely, it was fun. And everyone, until next time, please remember to like, follow, or subscribe to the Old Switcheroo and rate or review the show wherever you get your podcasts.
You can also find us at www.theoldswitcharoo.com to find all our social media links. We'd love to hear what you thought about this episode, what you're hoping to hear about in future episodes.
And of course, you can always join our Discord where you can talk games, play games, and even make a friend or two. As always, thanks for listening to the Old Switcheroo, where we've been talking gaming retro with Mike and Jaymo.
I've been Mike.
And I've been Jaymo. Game on, everyone.